9-point harness. Grandpa, get your ID. Shortly, because ladies and gentlemen, it is showtime.
You're listening to the Dirt Racing Podcast.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Dirt Racing Podcast. This is the season year-end recap. In other news, the class of 2024 in the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame was announced as 8 inductees will go in on Saturday, June 1st during the 34th annual induction ceremony in Knoxville, Iowa. The drivers were Tracy Hines, that his biggest accomplishments was winning the Triple Crown that consists of sprints, midgets, and Silver Crown titles. Also holds 91 career USAC wins. Paul McMahon, a successful wing sprint car driver, was the All-Star Rookie of the Year in 1999. And has 21 World of Outlaws wins, besides several. And then John Sambro, a true outlaw racer for many of his days. In the non-wing, has got 191 victories in 11 states at 25 different tracks for 17 different car owners. In the owners, mechanics, builders, manufacturer, and car builders, Gary Deuce Terrell is going in. One of his best years was with Doug Wolfgang in 1989. He worked for several others. And he started his own technical and driving school and continues to be a consultant to many teams. Ricky Warner, best known for with Donnie Schatz, too many victories. He has more than 200 outlaw wins. And then he's right now with Rico Abreu as a crew chief. In the promoters, officials, media members, events, and series sponsors, Mark Bones Boucher, that's right, has written many books and articles. The most recent one, some of his autobiographies included for Bill Simpson, Tony Stewart, Dave Darwin, Ed Pink, Bentley Warren, Ray Kurtz, and most recently Sammy Sondel. Bill Holder has written over a bunch of articles and wrote in several books on outdoor speedway, Winchester, Dayton High Banks, Richmond, and Indiana Racing All-Stars, and sprint car racing itself. The pre-70s would be Roy Robbins. His biggest accomplishment was being the first Knoxville Nationals winner in 1961. But he has many other great wins, as he's won in 11 different states. So that's the inductees for the 2024 class of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Since the last time we got together, the big news was the All-Star Circuit of Champions Sprint Car Series was bought by High Limit with Kyle Larson and Brad Sweet. So at this time, we'd like to take out the memory for the All-Stars with playing of taps. On the Spotify version, you'll be able to hear taps, but because this is a non-Spotify version, taps will not be played. So please, if it says for taps real quick, please disregard the message. Imagine we played it in your head. Thank you. We'll start with our national champions in the late model side. Nationally, Castrol Full Night America was Bobby Pierce. The Lucas Oil was Hudson O'Neal. Bobby Pierce was the World of Outlaws. The RX Super Series, Bobby Pierce, and the Working Man Series for RX XR, was Ricky Wise. In the Midwest, couple of them. In the MRA was Chad Simpson. The Malvern Bank West was Ted Postfishel. The Hooker Trucking East Series was Chad Holiday. In Dirt Car National was Jason Fager. IMCA was Corey Deppert. As we knew some of them. I'm looking for the state of Iowa track champions with IMCA. 34 Raceway was Chris C.J. Horn. Crawford County was Cale Kosiski. Andy Nowinski was Davenport. Eric Pollard was at Dubuque. IMCA was at Independence was Sean Johnson. Lee County was C.J. Horn. Andy Nowinski at Maquoketa, and Shelby County was Sterling Pickens. Over in the USAC world, for the midgets was Logan Seavey, and he also won the Silver Crown. And in the sprint cars was Justin Grant. The All-Star Circuit of Champions champion was Zeb Wise. World of Outlaws was Brad Sweet. The High Limit, we got some stats and figures from, was Kyle Larson. And some stats that on the High Limit was $1.1 million. I don't have the exact figure. Was dumped in through the points and purse fund and bonuses to almost 200 teams that raced. Average running time was 3 hours and 31 minutes. And we have individual times. At Lakeside, it was 10:40. Was 10:28. Wayne County was 9:59. 10:01 at Tri-City. Eagle was 9:49. Grandview 9:45. Kokomo was 9:10. Houston was 10:24. Lernerville was 10:12. Bridgeport was 9:03, and Lincoln Park was 9:13. The average car count was 42 sprint cars signed in, 56 at Lakeside, 51 at 34. Wayne County had 54. Tri-City had 31. 40 at Eagle. Grandview had 27, Kokomo 31, Houston's with 47, Laurelville with 58, Bridgeport with 33, and 38 at Lincoln Park. And the champion was Kyle Larson. Now, time for your local track champions. We'll start with series we cover, local series we cover. The Sprint Invaders champion was Ryan Button. Over at the CJ Speedway, Jared Brown was your points champion. In the stock cars was Dustin Griffiths. In the sport mods was Dylan Van Wyk. Randy Lamar was the hobby stock points champion. And Darren Smith was the sport compact champion. Over at the Marshalltown Speedway with champion awards were given out. For the sport compact champion, Kobe Saban received his champion jacket from Hoosier Tires, a pit map from Carolina Racing Supply and Tomcat Products, a tachometer from Quick and volt gauge from Quick Car Racing Products, champion banner from Caption Signs, and a receiver. Josh May, the Mod Light champion, received everything all the same as the Sport Compact champion. In the hobby stocks, Corey Vanderwalt received the champion's jacket from Hoosier Tires, the pit mat, $100 off purchase of MP3 products from Performance Bodies and Parts, $100 off a drive shaft from Fast Shafts, $500 off purchase of a 602 crate motor for Friesen Performance, plus the banner and the receiver. In the sport mods, Kyle Olson received all the above as the hobby stock champion did for the. In the stock cars, Steve Meyer received the champion jacket, the pit mat, the $100 off from MP3 products, the $100 off purchase of drive shaft, the champion's batter, and the receiver. And finally, Todd Shute received the jacket, the pit mat, the $100 off MB3 products, the $100 off the drive shaft, $1,000 off of a 602 crate motor from Friesen Performance, the champion's batter, and the receiver. The Sportsmanship Award was a hobby stock driver, Andy Pack. Rookie of the Year, there was a couple. In the modifieds, Isaac Malacote. In the hobby stocks, Derek McNeese. And Connor Atkins in Sport Compact, there was not one in stock cars or mod lights. In the Hard Charger Awards, in the mods, Todd Shute gained 49 positions. The stock car, Austin Kaplan gained 32. In the sport mods, Brandon Carter gained 61. Eric Knutson in hobby stock gained 63. Sport compacts, Kobe Saban gained 20. And in mod lights, Josh May gained 54. Over at the Southern Iowa Speedway Track Champions, your non-wing sprint cars went to Ben Woods. The hobby stocks went to Dustin Griffiths. The sport mods was Colton Lizzie, and stock car to Jason McDaniel. Over at the Knoxville Raceway, over $300,000 in cash and contingencies was handed out at the banquet. and we'll give you those. The Knoxville Racing Charitable Organization will provide insurance for all point eligible drivers again. In the junior fan club was Chase Randall. The Heritage Reward of Ralph Capitani went to Don Long. The Hard Charger Award in classes that passed the most cars. AJ Johnson received in the Pro, Chase Randall in 360s, and Davey Haskett in 410s. Tasker Phillips was the most improved driver in the 410s, while Cam Martin in 360 and Chase Young in the Pros. In the your rookies of the year in the Pro Series, AJ Johnson, Garrett Williamson in 360, and Lachlan McHugh in the 410s. Your top 5 drivers in points for the Pro Series: AJ Johnson was 5th, Mike Mayberry 4th, Matt Allen 3rd, Chase Young 2nd, and Kate Higday was the champion. In the 360s, it was Ryan Giles, Clint Gardner was 4th, Jamie Ball 3rd, Garrett Williamson 2nd, Chase Randall was your champion. In the 410s, it was Lynn Jeffrey, driver 5th place. In the owner 5th place was the 2KS car. Aaron Reisel was 4th, Davey Heskin 3rd, Brian Brown 2nd, Austin McCarl was the champion. Contingency awards presented to owners. So, in the Pro Series, the Triple X chassis to Joel Thornton, Vortex wings to Matt Allen, Mayberry Motorsports, and Jay Kender. HRP wings to Higday Motorsports, AJ Johnson's, Scott Snelsner, and Doug Warrington in 71. These are car owners. The Shellfeld header and FSR radiator went to Lauren Wilkie. The Pro Shocks to Chase and Brittany Young. The Hoosier Tires and 10 pit passes to Ryan Nevital, Josh Jones, and Toby Mosier. Once again, it's the 360s. These are presented to the owners. The Triple X chassis to David Brown. The Maxim chassis to Tyler Grundyke. A winner's front end to RSR, Jeff and Jerry Smith, John Randall, Dennis Gainey Racing Designs, and Chad Hughes. The rear end from winners went to Dan Henning, JJ Beaver, Colin Moyle, and T-Mac Motorsports. Vortex Wings went to Zoom Motorsports 14 car and the 33 car. The Nathan Anderson, the 4G of Boyd and Glenda Foth, Levitt Motorsports, Beaver Motorsports, Kobe Watt Racing, Ryan Giles Enterprises, Boyd and Glenda Forth 40, Jamie Ball Racing, Pro Shocks went to Betty Gainey, and the HRP wings went to Ekman Family and Catalyst Motorsports. The FSR radiator and Shutterfield headers to Johnny Anderson, and the Hoosier Tire and 10 pit passes to Cam Martin. 410, these are owner awards once again. The Maxim chassis went to Bruce Williams. Triple X to BDS Motorsports, and Jeremiah Jordan's all winner's rear end to Billy Vilhauer and Joe Cimbro. The TI-64 Titanium to Dism 5 Motorsports, and the RSR car. The Medic Titanium to Kyle and Susan Phillips, and Cordell Posterback. The Kinsler fuel pump and FSR radiator to Matt Morrill and Good No Promotions. Winner's front end went to Carson McCarl. All pro cylinder heads went to Brian Brown. The KSE steering gear went to Mania Motorsports and ML Promotions PC. Sandra Wills went to the JW2 Motorsports. Country Builders 88. The BMS, the B Brown & Miller Racing Solutions line kit and FSR radiator to Bobby Meitzer. And the 2KS. Show field headers and FSR radiator to Team Dennis Gainey Racing Design 6B. Those are all the awards from Knoxville. I'd like to take a moment and thank all the drivers on the Team Dirt Racing podcast team, as we had 53 wins and 4 titles in 2023. The titles were with USAC, Knoxville, All Stars, and Power Eye Winged 410s. And the wins were across multiple disciplines. So once again, I would like to thank all the drivers for another great year. Upcoming racing actions starting on the 6th is the Wild West Shootout for late models modified divisions, as it'll start on the 6th, run the 7th, taking off day till the 10th, come back the 12th, run the 13th and 14th. So 6 big races at Vado Speedway Park in New Mexico. The Chili Bowl runs the 8th through the 13th of January. So that's the big coming up races. Thanks for listening. This has been another edition of the Racing Podcast. We will see you at the track in 2024 or right here where you listen on your favorite podcasting site. As always, thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to the Dirt Racing Podcast with Marshall Hain. Follow us on Twitter at Dirt_podcast or on Facebook at the Dirt Racing Podcast.